Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing today? I hope this video catches you in good health. Today, I'm working on this little project down here. I hope you can see it. So what this is, guys, is a an old toy that my auntie Andrea bought for Tesla, who happens to be sleeping so tightly. He was so excited to see this old toy all broken up and everything. And yes, it still works after putting batteries in it. See the light come on? So, what I've had to do is I've had to resolder the little wires going to the circuit board. And since everything is broken inside of it, I've just hot glued it back together, and I had to add an antenna too. So this antenna here came from this other toy project. Have y'all ever seen these things after they tear up like that? I don't know where the body is to this thing, but what happened with this one was Tesla or one of the other children in the street put too much pressure on this little spindle. This is called a spindle, so the top of the spindle is broken off. It's just really cheap ABS plastic, so it's not designed to hold a lot of pressure. So I've borrowed the other antenna off of it and added it to this thing, and we're going to try to see if we can get it together. The other interesting aspect of what I wanted to do was see if we could actually modify this and to use lithium ion, because lithium ion is rechargeable, and these lithium ion batteries came from a power bank that had a broken terminal, so it was discarded as trash. And I found it, and I claimed it, and because my wife has already replaced her power bank, yeah, so this was my wife's power bank. And so the charging unit is actually still functional, and that's really important because I can probably use this, recycle, right? I can probably recycle this for another project later. Or, matter of fact, I was actually thinking of making a rig so I could recharge these 3.7 volt 18650s. So, recharging the 18650s with a dedicated charger is one of the better options, because with a smaller charger they can take a really long time to charge. You know, this little young man here, guess what day it is for him? It's his birthday, right? And I know grandfather or grandmother is probably going to buy him a new toy, but I personally don't like experimenting with a lot of new toys, because what happens to them? You play with them for a couple of days, and then guess what? They're broken. Yeah. So this particular unit here was actually designed to be played with by children of his age group. So the body has plastic parts which can actually compress and absorb a lot of the shock vibration which can be experienced with a toy. Because often if it drops or something like that, it can break. This one's been dropped, I would estimate, more than at least 50 times, I think. So cool. Well, I'm going to continue doing this, and I'll try to explain what I'm doing, inshallah, and we'll see what we can do here. what I'm basically doing now is I'm this is called wire management. So when you take a cable, which are called wires in English, when you take a cable and match them up, I think these are hot now. Before they weren't hot. Oh yeah, you're right. But a little brief short out won't hurt anything, I think. Lithium ion batteries are really strong. Yep, so that's what I do is I separate the wire. I usually use my fingernails for cables this small. And this is this gray wire. You can find this in a lot of places here in Indonesia. So I roll the wire back before I strip it, and this is really easy to do. It makes sure that I can turn it in a complete circle. And these wires particularly are some of the more difficult wires to strip without a wire stripper. In countries like America, did you know that they make wire strippers specifically just to strip wires? And yeah, I've ruined my fingernails stripping these wires because the plastic is so tightly embedded into the conductor. So a conductor, guys, y'all built the I know I just throw my trash in the floor, but I'm supposed to actually throw it in the box, but I have a cup of ice water over there. Don't like to throw it in just anywhere, if you know what I mean. As I was saying, yeah, my fingernail's gone. To do it this way. Okay. Clean up afterwards, right? Clean up on aisle 7. Yeah, the wires, a lot of the wires manufactured in China and in the United States of America are better quality than this usually. It looks pretty bad, but you know, sometimes you gotta deal with whatever you're working with. So on this wire, this type of wire is clearly marked because they come in a strand of 4. That means they're 4 conductors that are bonded together whenever they're made, but they're all marked. So for instance, the wire on the left will have some stripes on it that are spaced out a lot more than the wire on the right. So I already dedicated all of the long stripes for positive and all the short intervals for negative. So you guys know by playing with the batteries and the lights of circuitry. So I thought it would be a really interesting video, perhaps, to to show you that you indeed can you recycle some perfectly usable batteries. These are 3.7 volt. I don't know I don't know what brand name there are, so they're probably a generic brand from China. These are generally not that good, but usually if you find them out of a power bank or a, a, a pretty recent computer, usually when you can find them out of a computer battery or a battery pack or something like that that's been thrown away, and then you check them with your meter, then you can usually find some good batteries. I put a meter on this before I started the video, and since this meter was born here, now it's not going to work. Apparently, it's decided to stop working suddenly. Oh, it started working for a second. What is up with this? And that's what you deal with a lot of times here in Indonesia. You deal with stuff that is only going to function at a random time. So, fortunately, it's really important to always keep some tools around you. So, tools are very, very helpful if you would like to. My goodness, what has happened with this battery? Did it get wet? I didn't know this thing got wet. Man, this thing's been wet. I didn't even know it. So, see something like that. Yeah, that's not good. So, what we can do usually is we can get a silicone base gel can be applied to stuff like that. So, yeah, so I bought these from Tokopedia, these right here, and they can be really helpful. So basically, I just rip the top off of it. Okie dokie. See something like this? My goodness. This is bad news, man. I didn't know this was like this. Oh, I see. This is this battery that. These batteries. Okay, actually have these terminals. Or terminals like this tear off. Yeah, so that'll help reduce the continued oxidation of that, I think. Okie dokie. So we're going to put that back in there where it belongs. And hopefully it's functioning. Yes. It was a fairly new battery, you know, it's just crazy, man. Get a little moisture in it, man, and that messes it up for reals. Fortunately, you know, most things are fairly easy to deal with. Given the if you prepare yourself for anything that you're expected to encounter, then you can definitely make a huge difference. Cool. So now that that meter is going again, see, that didn't take long. See, these batteries, even when they're low or when they're nearly empty, which is crazy because it has a volt in it, right? Has a 1 point showing 1 point. Man, y'all can't see that. Can't. That's the hold. All right, so it's showing 1.01, and all these batteries on this side are pretty much the same. So let's see what this one has over here. And that's why we test stuff to see if it's gonna work or not. Okay, so that one has 3.5. Isn't that interesting? How I have that wired on the different cable run. And the other one is 3.6. So 3.5 plus 3.6 is going to be a total of 7.1. Cool. Um, so if it's 7.1 volts coming out of here, these typically only run 3 batteries. See, 1, 2, 3. So you just have to think 3 times 1.5. What is 3 times 1.5? Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Right? Did you catch that? Just easy. You can do it on your fingers. You don't even have to really multiply. So this car takes 4.5 volts typically to operate. So all it has to do is run the receiver, which is what this module is on the top. It has a receiver in it, and the rest of these things are just buttons. Buttons which I had to resolder. So what we're gonna do over here is we're gonna wire this to where it's got 3.5 or 3.6 volts. Why do that, Teacher Cook? Why? Because the benefit in doing that, see, that's a negative on the left, right? Are you serious? Okay. That's weird. So even though so that means maybe I got the wires mixed around when I put it together. But that's why it's important to recheck everything whenever you put something together. So negative. So that means your positive over here and your negative is over here. And see, that's correct. Negative over here and positive over here. That says no, that ain't the way it is. So what we got to do, gentlemen and ladies, is we've got to wire it to where the circuit is in a parallel circuit. Cool. So we know that these are different. And so it's really, really simple. So all we got to do is take the two positives and put them together. So what's that one? Boom. So we know that's the positive over here, right? And then watch this. This is the positive on this side. Boom. Yep. So this is the positive on this side. So we're going to put both of these positives together, just like that. Putting both of the positives together. Please don't sing, Teacher Cook. My ears hurt. Oh my God, seriously. There is only going to be a tenth of a volt difference between these. Recycling, ladies and gentlemen, is a very valuable thing because whenever you do that, you ain't got to go out and buy a new toy or whatever it is you need. You know, if you're a little bit creative, it can save you a whole lot of money. And yeah, having brand new things and having the best things, they can help you focus on other things of what you like to do. However, if that situation isn't upon you, then it would behoove you to take advantage of the knowledge that you can definitely accomplish a tremendous amount by what is it called? Recycling. So I'm gonna adhese this together so it doesn't pull apart. I don't recommend dealing with a glue gun unless you absolutely know what the heck you're doing. It's easy to burn yourself. But hey, guess what happens when you burn yourself? You learn something, right? You learn what not to do. So you gotta learn sometime, right? Don't ever be afraid to learn. Alright, the reason why I hit that with hot glue instead of tape is because uh, hot glue is a whole lot more convenient right now. And for this experiment, anytime you're using tools for experiment, it's best to use stuff that you can quickly change. See, that didn't take very long to cool off. Still a little tacky. That's what we call that, tacky. Before it cools all the way off, I can push it together because the outside's already cool. Cool, got that. So now I know what I'm gonna do, right? So now we have to run the cable or some conductors. We likes to call them cables in Indonesia. Right? I don't need it very long. These wire pliers over here, they ain't worth the money I paid for them. I just use a knife to cut it. It's faster. Okay, did that one. Did that one. Now let's see if they're gonna strip the wire. Boom. Yep, they stripped it. Yeah, because after I cut it, this really helps to not break your fingernails if you guys want to strip wires. So strip wires the right way. Give it a nice little cut around it. Try not to cut the conductors inside. Now, what most people will do after they strip wires is that they'll add a little bit of tin on them. This is called tinning or soldering. So I likes to do that as well. Let me get the cable out of here. I don't think I can get the cable out of your way. Maybe I'll just position this differently. Ooh, man. I don't have a solder cleaner, so sometimes you can just take some paper. See, look how dirty that is. Take some paper and knock that off of there. You can use paper because the paper ain't gonna melt. Just don't ever put it on any kind of plastic or something like that. Look, it turned green after touching the paper.